What's up, Bat family out there? Troy to the Max Extreme.
And Ghost Hunter Dave.
Together, we form IMPERIUS REX.
We are at the moment that we've all been waiting for. Grant Morrison's Batman.
That's right.
I'm excited.
I am very excited, Dave. This is the very first time I've ever read through this Morrison stuff. Had no idea what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I've read some of his events that we will touch on later, and we have touched on in the past.
That's right.
And I feel like reading through this made it a lot more fuller experience.
Absolutely. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Way ahead.
So today begins our two-part deep dive into Grant Morrison's Batman.
Yep.
And you may be asking yourself, or us, how are you going to cover his entire run in 2 issues? Well, you hold on, buddy. This is only his Batman title.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even touching Batman and Robin, Batman Incorporated, the relaunch of Batman Incorporated, Return of Bruce Wayne. We'll get to that. That's next BATYEAR.
Get to it.
We're giving this the time it deserves. We're getting real deep in Grant Morrison's Batman.
Right. That's right.
So let's do it. Put on our metafiction hats.
Oh, God. Mine looks like the graduation cap with a light bulb on it.
Ooh, mine's just a dunce cap.
Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Morrison's Batman officially begins. Batman begins. With Batman 655. And this was September of 2006, year of our Lord. But this was not his first time writing Batman, as we know, and I'm sure you do at home. He started off with Arkham Asylum, moved on to Gothic, had him in JLA, and touched on him a bit in 52, which we will call out to.
Yes.
That's right. So, accompanying our reading, or at least my reading, you want to grab that right there?
This right here?
That's it.
Okay.
Was the C-Corp organization's The Anatomy of Zur-En-Arr. Understanding Grant Morrison's Batman. And this was written by Cody Walker, and it's just a nice little reference guide to have in hand as you read this.
400-page reference guide, right?
As you can see, I have 2 bookmarks in it.
Oh my.
That's what we're getting into here. Grant Morrison's Batman, Troy.
Yeah.
Any thoughts right off top?
I said it right off the top earlier, but I enjoyed it way more because I've read R.I.P. before, which we'll get to.
Yep.
And I've read Final Crisis, which you did like in one of our first episodes ever.
Second
episodes ever.
Yep.
And we really kind of struggled to get through those. At least I did when I'm first reading. But like what it needed was this precursor. He was taking from bits of the past and just plunging himself into it real hard, the way Grant Morrison does, and racing towards the future to some big cosmic kind of like existential event.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks.
So one of the running themes in Morrison's Batman, if not the theme, is, I would say, the dissection and reinvention of what Batman can be.
Yep.
He's a dark vigilante. He's a happy-go-lucky hero.
Yep.
Dynamic duo. Lots of stuff. And it seems like Morrison's main goal was to address them all as canon.
Yeah.
Like, they've all happened.
Yep. And I like that. The first time I ever heard that idea was when he was on that Fat Man on Batman episode, one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, I've listened to it multiple times.
Where he goes in and just dives into that kind of history of Batman's like, why can't all of this has happened? It all makes sense if you think about it this way. And he said it, and I was just like, been awakened for the first time.
Yes. So by doing this, he kind of redefines Batman as this superhuman. He's still human.
Yep.
Removing him from the dark and brooding persona that encapsulated his image back in the 80s and everyone just kind of really held on to and didn't want to let go of that.
Right.
Because he's got to be so much more.
Right.
You know, Batman has to be more. He's dedicated his life to this mission, and he can't just be this, like, crazed, vengeance-fueled crusader. He has to evolve, he has to grow, and he does that in this book in spades.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But to do that, he has to remove that dark part of his persona. And the Grant Morrison Omnibus, Volume 1, which is pretty much the bulk of what we're reading today, kicks off with an excerpt from 52. Bruce goes to Nanda Parbat, this mystic land, in an effort to find the Ten-Eyed tribe who cut out demons, essentially.
Yeah.
He wants them to cut out the darkness within him.
Right. All the events, like, leading up to 52, there was a lot of dark, heavy events, like the OMAC Project, Maxwell Lord, Identity Crisis, all that kind of stuff.
Not even mentioning Robin's dying, him getting his back broken.
All
Batman was in a bit of a dark spell there.
And so all that shit
25
was just
years.
dragging him down for, like 2 decades or more. And he's trying to, like, he feels it weighing on him. Of the pressure of being the Batman. And he needs to, like, have a release of some sort.
He's ready for a good cleanse. A nice colonic.
And so these 10-eyed men are gonna colonic him real hard.
I love that it opens, I think Robin is narrating it, and he's saying, like, it started so well. And it shows, like, all the fun times they were having. And then it's like, but then it just went wrong. And then it shows all the dark times. And basically he says, like, when you think about everything that happened, it's too much for any man. And that's true. Like, even Batman, this ultimate man, it's like, it's just weighing him down. So he goes to this place to get this darkness expunged from his soul. And he comes back like this new man, ready to go forward. And that's where we go with Grant Morrison. God, we haven't even made it to the first issue yet.
We're still in the preamble.
So then we go into Batman and Son, issue 655, the official start of Grant Morrison's run on Batman. It opens with a slam-bang adventure. Batman, or a fellow dressed as Batman, shoots the Joker on the head, stops one of his usual crimes. I think this one was, like, kidnapping a group of disabled kids in a Joker-faced helicopter or something completely ridiculous. Obviously echoing back to, like, the silly Joker of the 70s.
For a reason, too.
Yeah.
They make sure he's completely different what you see in the rest of the run.
Yes, so this event sets up about 3 ongoing plot lines that go throughout the entire Grant Morrison run here. One, the reinvention of the Joker. The Clown at Midnight, I think is his new title. Which, his hyper-personality, which Morrison, I guess, invented in Arkham Asylum, has evolved to this really sinister, dark, Slender Man type of Joker.
Weird, horrific, gothic surgeon's coat. Slicked back, wet hair.
And eventually forked tongue of his own doing. So that goes back to Joker's constant evolution. A lot of evolving in this. Second, we get a touch of the first of the 3 ghosts of Batman. In case you weren't sick of that old Charles Dickens Christmas Carol analogy. That does play a small role in here. These mysterious assailants embodying different dark personas of the Batman mythology. And then we also get a glimpse of graffiti around the alleys. With the strange wording Zur and R. You okay there? You alright?
I don't know. I think I'm coming down with, like, a headache or something. Maybe I need more of these.
Yeah, we'll mix up a couple more of these. We're gonna need them.
Okay.
Alright. So we also get a lot of time dedicated to Batman trying to balance his life as Bruce Wayne. Because Alfred even says, like, when they're in the cave, he says, Sir, you know that... My Alfred.
Okay, go ahead. I wasn't prepared.
Alright, I'm gonna go into it now.
Okay.
Master Bruce. That growl in your voice, the one you had to practice before you went out as Batman, you're doing it all the time, sir. So Batman is kind of taken over. Bruce has got a, as Comic Book Girl 19 said on a couple episodes back, he needs some Bruce time.
That's right.
So he strikes up a relationship with Jezebel Jet, another survivor of tragedy, socialite, billionaire. Yes.
Yeah.
They seem like a perfect fit.
Right.
So they kind of strike up a romantic relationship, which goes throughout the whole thing.
Right.
And it's all right. Like, it doesn't feel too forced. I mean, it is technically forced on him, but it evolves in a way that you're like, yeah, okay,
yeah, this
I
could
get
work.
it. Yeah. It also leads to a lot of, like, funny sitcom-y things where Bruce Wayne has to, like, well, I'll be right back, and then he has to go be Batman, and then he's, like, all beat up, so he has to pretend that a skydiving mishap went wrong. This is how I wound up in the dumpster.
Shoot.
So, while Bruce and Jezebel are at a art gala benefit, which is full of meta overtones throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It's just, it's not even sprinkled. They're flat out there.
Yeah. It's shirt cannoned.
Yes.
Into the walls.
Yes. They're attacked by an army of ninja man-bats.
Yeah.
Led by Talia al Ghul. See, I told you those last 2 episodes would pay off. Ever so slightly. Now, leader of the League of Shadows in a one-time Bruce Wayne fling.
Yep.
And she's got a message for Bruce.
Yeah.
One, to offer Bruce Batman.
Yep.
They're the same.
They are?
Sorry. She offers him a role in her organization. Wants him to join up, as they usually do. They should know by now he doesn't want that shit.
Those Al Ghul's are horny for that idea.
Oh my god. They're dead set on that League of Shadows. And she also has a little surprise for him. A bundle of joy by the name of Damian Wayne.
Right.
What a dickhead this kid is.
A fresh little asshole is what he is.
He's a real prick.
I can see why the internet was so aflame with anger when he was first introduced. The only time I ever witnessed Damian was only peripherally, like in little things here, and he was kind of like a little bit of a jerk, but I'm like, he's fine. I thought he was fine. But in this, he is like unbearable.
He sucker punches Alfred. You don't hit Alfred.
He's an old man.
He's constantly whining and bitching. Nearly cripples Tim Drake.
Right.
Beheads a villain and brings it back to Batman and is like seeking his approval.
Like a cat bringing a kill to its master.
Yes. But he is like just trying to get Batman's approval through this whole thing. He's being a real asshole about it. But that is essentially what he wants.
That's his end game for sure.
To the point where at the end, Bruce and Talia and Damian are all on a submarine, and Talia's like, "Make your choice, Damian, him or me," and he's just like, can't we all be together? Like, why do I have to choose? It was really, all of a sudden I felt really bad for him. I'm like, oh, poor kid, he's from a broken home.
Until he called everyone the C word, and then you're like, all right,
that's it.
Shoot him out the torpedoes.
Yep. And then they're hit by a torpedo, and presumably they're dead. They're not, but they're out of it for a bit. So after that, Andy Kubert, who's been doing the art duties on this, takes a little break, and we get a very strange all-prose issue.
Yeah.
Entitled The Clown at Midnight, I believe. And this is about Joker recovering from his gunshot that he got in the first issue.
Yeah. This was a slog for me, Dave.
Okay. All right.
I did eventually get into it about halfway through, but I don't know why they thought this was a good idea.
It is a very strange.
Did this come out as a monthly issue?
Yeah.
Because if it did, holy shit. I would like to go back to like message boards or something and see like the outrage of whatever this
I can
is.
Imagine the community was irate when they I gotta read all these words.
Yeah. Well, I would have been right there with them. I'm like, what am I doing here?
I'm pretty sure when I first read this, like 7 or 8 years ago, I started it, and then I'm assuming I skipped it, because I didn't remember anything from it. But I was in the zone here. I'm like, I'm going to read it. I'm like, oh my god, it is long.
Yeah, I kept flipping through
23 pages of this.
Oh my god, there's more.
But as you said, once I got into it, I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine describing Joker's transformation in another form that worked as well as this. I feel like Grant Morrison's wording, it's like, holy shit, this guy can write.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's a writer, but, like, I think of comic writers and real writers.
Oh my God,
it's slightly I know. It's slightly different. You gotta handle more words. You gotta describe things.
Right.
Normally that's what the artist does.
Right.
And he does it beautifully.
There's stuff that he writes that's going on in his mind or the psyche that you couldn't capture with, like, a picture.
No, it made me kind of want to read, like, a real book written by Grant Morrison. Like, yeah, unleash it on me. Like, I was harrowed from this. It was intense.
Harrowed. Man, you picked up a lot of vocabulary from those 2 issues.
Like, yeah, a lot of words in there. So in this, Joker essentially gives birth to his new persona.
Yeah.
This dark, evil creature.
Right.
Cuts ties with Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And then proceeds on this new walk of life.
Yeah.
But Batman beats him and he goes back to jail.
Right.
But you're getting a glimpse into his insanity.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an interesting way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it landed, like how it was received, but I thought it was super experimental. I'm amazed they let him do it in the Batman book.
Right.
I don't know.
Grant Morrison's got a lot of pull.
Yeah, did anyone read this when it came out? What'd you think?
Yeah.
So after that weird break, we return to the traditional format, and this one is about the second ghost of Batman, this venom-fueled Bane monstrosity wearing the cowl.
I thought it was Bane, but it's not.
Yeah. I mean, it might as well have been.
Right.
But, yeah, it's just another ghost of Christmas past, you know, to haunt Batman.
Right.
He's getting thoughts from his back injury.
Right.
It's like, what? I can't fight this
the
guy.
Ghost of Christmas presently kicking your ass.
Yes. So after that arc, we get another kind of weird fill-in. Issue 666, Mark of the Beast, Batman in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And in this one, we jump ahead to the future, and we have a Damian Wayne Batman who's picked up the cowl after his father has died somewhere.
Yeah.
And it is this futuristic take of this, like, take no prisoners, Damian Wayne Batman, just offing people left and right.
He's like the desert Batman from BVS.
Very much. I was going to say he's like a Mad Max Batman, but that's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And here we're introduced to the third ghost.
Yeah.
This gun-toting, gas-masked Batman who says he was created by the devil and he's here to, like, watch Gotham burn. And Damian and him face off, and Damian reveals that he sold his own soul to the devil to keep Gotham's survival. And then he kicks this Batman off a roof and he falls on like a fence and gets impaled. And then he says the immortal lines from Idris Elba, the apocalypse is canceled. This came first.
Take that, Elba.
Yes. Pacific Rim job.
Got him. I liked it.
I did too.
I
could have used more.
I thought it was going to be
just
a
like
little
checked
bit...
in with him every like 20 issues. I would have loved that.
Even if it was just future of things maybe that won't happen, they could change or whatever. I still enjoyed the ride for that one. I thought
definitely.
It was fun. Because for what we've seen of Damian already, we haven't really seen a whole lot just in the main Batman title.
Just enough to fucking hate him.
So when you see it jump to this, you're like, oh, maybe that could be a possible future where he just like keeps the same mentality, but he's like, but I'm gonna be Batman in a sweet coat, and I'm gonna be kicking people on the gates all day.
So after that brief apocalyptic intermission, we come back to the present, and we have a different artist at this point. We have J.H. Williams III. Oh my god. It's my favorite artist throughout this entire run.
Yeah, it's so good. And if you haven't read previous trades of Batwoman, he started that.
And eventually wrote it for a while.
And there's like a whole kerfuffle with him like leaving the book because of some editorial decision or whatever.
Yeah.
But like his art on that is phenomenal. And I'm glad that I got to see it in the main Batman title too.
Yeah. So this begins the arc of the Island of Mr. Mayhew, a veritable murder mystery right out of an Agatha Christie novel,
Yeah.
which brings together the International Club of Heroes, which is a group of Batman wannabe crime fighters from all across the globe, as they are summoned to this remote island,
Right.
and eventually investigating the death of their founder.
Right.
Mr. Mayhew, this eccentric billionaire.
Right.
I love this one.
It was so fun. And were these characters introduced in Batman Incorporated first? Or did this come first and then Incorporated came
Incorporated's way after.
Oh, okay.
But they were introduced in the Silver Age.
Were they really?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, in the Black Casebook, which he references here. DC released a Batman Black Casebook, which has all these adventures that Batman's own.
Nice. Okay.
So meta. But yes, they have the issue where all these Batman of many nations come together under a Mr. Mayhew.
Cool. I love it.
And, like, they come off as so fully formed and fleshed out.
Yeah.
Even though they probably have, you know, maybe like 10 pages each total in this. Like, you totally get their personalities.
Right.
They're a blast. They're a bunch of, like, D-list wannabe losers. But, like, you really like them. Or you like specific ones. And, like, I want to see more of that guy.
Yeah.
I want to see more of Man of Bats. The Native American Batman.
Yeah.
Who, when you eventually get more of him in Batman Incorporated, his Batmobile is just an old truck.
I love it.
Yes. And he just patrols the reservation.
Good.
So this is like a locked room murder mystery. They get there and this tape flashes on, kind of like Saw, asking them if they want to play a game. And here we get the first introduction to the Black Glove. So you get this mysterious figure wearing the skin of Mr. Mayhew and essentially offering them a chance to, like, roll the dice on whether or not they're going to win.
Right.
And I love the gambling motif through this. It's like, odds, evil. Place your bets.
Yeah.
Love it.
What I also like about these two issues as well is that everyone is very hypocritical around Batman a little bit. They talk shit about him behind his back, but then once he shows up, they're like, oh, Batman.
How was your trip in?
Yeah, I didn't hear you come in. Your bat plane is so silent.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's way quieter than mine. And while Batman's there trying to solve that whole mystery, everyone is... Then, like, when he goes into another room, he's like, I was going to do that, but you did it first.
Fucking guy just comes and goes as he pleases. They all hold kind of a grudge against him because he left the Club of Heroes.
Right.
Like,
he was so
there.
much better than
Yeah,
that.
he's just like, you guys got it. I'm going to keep doing my thing. Keep up the good work. Look, call me if you need anything. And then they're always calling him, so eventually he just mutes, though. He's like...
Nah.
Yes, and even Mr. Mayhew eventually blames him for breaking up the band there. But this is the only part of this storyline where I'm kind of in the weeds on, because the ending is so ambiguous.
Right.
So the villain says he's Mr. Mayhew, even though he was first seen wearing Mr. Mayhew's skin, full on like Ed Gein flesh suit.
Yeah.
But it's not him.
No.
It's this mysterious character who we will get a glimpse at in the next one.
Yeah.
Or is it? I don't know. This is so weird.
I think it is supposed to be... Are you talking about Hurt?
Dr. Hurt.
Yeah.
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 It's Dr. Hurt.
Yeah.
But they give so many red herrings, and maybe that's because of the premise of this. It's like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
But almost too many where you're like, wait, what? Who? You have to, like, go back and be like, okay, he's dead.
Right.
Is he? Yeah. Is it the actor? I don't know.
Man, this art is great.
Yeah, exactly. You see that splash page? Woo!
Yeah.
That's my only issue with it, where I'm on board the whole way. Like, the spectacle and the flash and just the fun premise.
Right.
I'm sold.
Right.
But at the end, I was like, that was great! So what happened?
Yeah, I find that a lot in, like, detective stories where they think they really only plan until, like, the big reveal, and then they don't know how to finish it
We'll
out.
make it work.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it makes sense, and if I remember correctly, they do explain it a little bit more down the road, not in anything we're covering. So keep it on the back burner.
Right.
But this is also a really violent story arc.
Right. I felt like this whole run was actually more violent than I would think they'd put in a mainstream Batman book.
Yeah. The Joker is despicable.
Absolutely.
And then, like, all the characters, a lot of the League of Heroes or the Club of Heroes or whatever they are, get offed in this. The Roman, or whatever he is, gets stabbed 27 times.
Right.
The filleting of Mr. Mayhew.
Yeah, right.
Knight, who is England's Batman, he has a partner, the Squire, like Robin.
Yeah.
He gets a bomb jammed down his throat, and Man of Bats has to cut it out of him before it explodes, because he can't vomit it up. And that whole thing is like, oh my lord.
That whole thing, I was like, how, first of all, did they get you to swallow that bomb?
Give me $20 if you eat this. Sold.
Shit, I would have done it for free.
Yeah.
Just pops it in. But then, the whole tension thing, I was like, get the bomb out of him.
I thought it was weird. There's no major villains in this.
No.
Other than the Joker, who you gotta have.
Right.
I don't think in his entire run there's another, like, main villain.
Nope.
And it even kicks off with Batman saying, like, or Gordon, I think, telling him, like, yeah, you pretty much wiped out organized costume crime in Gotham.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's starting with Batman eventually cleaning up Gotham City.
Mm-hmm. That had to be refreshing, though, because they went from, like, Batman with, like, throughout, like, the last 10 years, it's just, like, Penguin, Joker, Riddler, blah, blah, blah.
Two-Face,
And then put him on a revolving door and come back in.
Hush.
Yeah.
Hush.
Yeah. But I really enjoy, like, Batman stories where it is, like, more detective-based and it's, like, whatever. It just he's, like, a man of the streets or whatever, even though Grant Morrison really takes some globe-trotting around.
Yeah.
There's no, like, big, huge, costumed villain.
I thought it was good.
Me
good
too.
choice.
Same.
And I'm someone that loves Batman's rogues gallery.
Yeah, me too.
So if you told me none of them were in it, my initial thought would be like, oh, really?
Fuck you.
Yeah. But it's fine.
Right. Yeah, it read really well.
So I think that's where we're going to put a pin in it for this episode. So join us next week where we unearth Batman, rest in peace, and all the issues that
lead up
to that. Gonna sprinkle some Zurin Ra in there. We're gonna lead into some Final Crisis. Who knows? It's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're getting with this fella. This Morrison fella. You okay over there?
I don't know.
How strong was that thing?
I didn't think it was that strong, but I have a funny feeling in my old ticker up here.
You're fine.
All right.
All right. So until next time, he's been
Troy to the Max Extreme, and he's been
Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we've been Imperious Rex.
Thank you and good night.